Hello, I'm Scott Wimsett, and continuing part of our series of special interviews on the royal wedding, I'm here with celebrity hairdresser Nikki Clark. How are you, Nikki?
I'm very well, how are you?
I'm very well indeed. So obviously understanding all of the things that need to be considered for the big day, what do you imagine that Catherine is going through right now leading up to the wedding?
We've seen already that what sort of girl she is, in the sense that, you know, she's got a conservative side and she has a slightly playful side as well.
With regards to the actual big day, I mean, do you think she should do a contemporary kind of with the hair down, or should she possibly wear more conservative and wear it up in a tiara? Because everyone's been saying, you know, her hair is her crowning glory. She's got beautiful healthy hair.
The dress does tend to dictate quite a lot. I'm not so sure that it will be up, because I don't think we've ever seen that before. I think the nearest she's got is, you know, kind of ascot and things like that.
We would look at Catherine's hair and it's very, very healthy, but do you think that it needs to have anything done to it particularly?
The bad side of having very good, thick, healthy, almost one-length hair is that it's quite a lot to play with, and you don't necessarily get the spontaneity that you would get by having some of those shorter pieces. I mean, I would say if it was me, I would be tempted to certainly keep the length that she has, certainly keep the simplicity of being able to just wear it blown out. But I personally would put some long layers through it. It makes life a lot easier, but also it really makes it that you can get some kind of softness and an ease through it without it being either down or hardly up.
Doing hair for somebody in the public eye to that degree, what kind of pressures are you under as a hairdresser?
I did Serena Linley's for the last royal wedding that I did. She was wearing a very, very heavy tiara that Princess Margaret had given her, and we did a very kind of sort of Grace Kelly type of updo. And in fact, actually, as she got out of the car, she slightly hit the top of it. And of course, I had to then make that decision. Do I go in and just tweak it quickly so to know that it's going to be fine for the rest of the day, or do I leave it and have the fact that it's going to irritate me, and probably people will pick up on that. I mean, I decided to just go in and do my bit.
Most girls would have 1-2 rehearsals. What do you think Catherine might be doing?
What I like to do as the very first rehearsal is to do a number of things and just take, you know, informal pictures of it. I would want to do 3 or 4 just to kind of go, look, let's try this, let's try, you know, low chignon, soft curls, let's go up, let's go, because a lot of it is to do with the balance as well. And something that when you're sitting in informal jeans and a t-shirt that looks like a bit of a do, doesn't become a bit of a do when you've got all of that regalia on.
Talking about the big day, what sort of tips would you give to any bride preparing their hair?
Aiming to try and get things in tip-top condition, you know, and that starts months before. Making sure that you've got the right haircut, and very often that's not normally done on the day. With her, she doesn't have any fringes or anything like that, so it's less important. So she's got a few weeks leeway there for a start. But I would say I would want it to be as clean as simple, and certainly you want to be able to make sure that whatever you do, that's going to last.
I think the statistics were that it's sort of 700 million people will be watching her on the day.
So just a few then.
Just a little bit of pressure. And obviously those photographs will be there in history forever.
Absolutely.
So it has to be absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, I personally think it's probably going to be half up, half down. I think that's probably one of the safest. I mean, certainly in the case of Wills's mother, I mean, one of the things that that was a kind of almost an advantage or disadvantage was the fact that she just had this very fresh haircut.
So talking about the royal family en masse, who do you think within the royal circle has fabulous, iconic hair?
I think I'm probably going to go for the Queen herself, actually, because it's interesting how her style hasn't really, certainly her hairstyle hasn't really changed since the coronation. I mean, you know, back in the early 50s. I think there's one picture of her with maybe over to the side, but that's about it.
It's almost like she's beyond fashion, so it doesn't really matter with the Queen. She's sort of her own unique symbol of herself, really.
Yeah, and I think more important is there's almost a real Britishness there, and you could take that all the way through, you know, to her husband and to Charles. You know, there is a certain Englishness that I think we're now actually appreciating, that it doesn't answer to the vagaries of changing times. And I quite like the idea that there is a house style, the House of Windsor style.
The House of Windsor style, exactly. Yeah. Are you excited about the royal wedding? What's your sentiments?
I am excited. I mean, think back to 1981, which is, I think, for this country, the last time there was a massive royal wedding, although I think Serena Lindley and David Lindley could still, still took that on as well. But certainly as direct descendants to the throne, I think this is a major day, and it is a public holiday, and I think people are getting into the spirit of it.
What will you be doing on the big day? How will you be celebrating the royal wedding?
I don't know. I mean, probably nearer the time, I shall be involved in some way, but I will certainly be watching it on TV, if not being somewhere in the crowds. I'm excited by the fact that it's a great day for England.
Well, you're a genius with everything to do with hair. Thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.
I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.